Still on the subject of digital transformation, we are looking at culture as a critical component of digital transformation. According to a survey by McKinsey Global and Co., culture is one of the main barriers that hinder organizations' digital transformation. In a press release by Gartner, it stated that 46% of CIOs identified culture as the largest barrier to realizing the promise of digital business. So, as postulated in Ayo's digital model, successful digital transformations are nurtured by the right digital culture. Yes, you need to start with a business vision, which is at the center of the digital transformation. But for this to thrive, you need the right digital culture to nurture it. So, how do you build the right digital culture? We draw from this analysis by BCG on how companies can embed the right digital culture. So it says that first you need to articulate the cultural change that is required. What actually looks good for you? What culture do you envisage that your organization needs to be able to achieve its business transformation efforts? Now, when you have articulated this, now you need to activate leadership characteristics and engage employees. There has to be an engagement of the employees to make them have a buy-in into this. And there has to be some form of buy-in and acceptance of this new culture. Because culture is actually a way of life, it guides how we interact, how we behave. So when people are not engaged or do not buy into it, it then becomes difficult to effect these cultural changes. Now, the third step is to align the organization to embed the new culture. So you start by articulating it, engaging the employees, and now getting everybody to buy into it and agreeing on how this will be embedded in the new culture, how to reinforce this behavior. This could be through write-ups, through meetings, through interactions, and possibly constantly reminding people of the desired new culture. Now, let's look at some of the things that make up the right digital culture. Now, the list we are going to discuss is not conclusive, and none of them is like a must. Like we said, so where you start is you need to look at these aspects or components of digital culture and identify the ones your organization needs to achieve its objective. So let's look at customer centricity. Now, this requires that the focus of your decisions, of the organizational decisions, will revolve around customer experience. There has to be some focus on giving the users what they want. And to be able to do this, you need to have a feedback mechanism. You need to build into your system and culture a feedback mechanism of getting to know what the customers want and capturing this and then addressing it. And this also involves focusing on what the customers want or need and not necessarily what your company offers. You need to look at what do our customers want, not what do we have to offer. So you need to look at these things from the customer's perspective. And some of the digital giants we have today actually have this culture embedded in the organizations. For example, Amazon. Even from the vision of Amazon, you see the customer centricity embedded in their culture, and it also reflects in the customer journey, the one-click purchase, and the rest of them. Now, if you come to Google, you also see the focus on the user experience um, clearly exhibited in their operations. Now, if you look at the Google homepage, now you see it's so plain and light. Part of that is to ensure that the customer experience is seamless and smooth. Now, the Google homepage is one page that can generate millions of dollars in advert if they decide to monetize it. But if you look at the Google homepage, there is no advert on it. There is not even the company's details are on it. They kept it just the focus on the customer, because their philosophy is that if a customer comes to that page, what the customer wants to do is search, and what they decide to offer the customer is just the search. So that just that space to enter the word you want to search for. The same thing also goes for Alibaba and all the other tech giants. There is this focus on the customer. So, as a business and you're in the process of transformation and you need to build your culture, this is one of the things you can build up as a part of your organizational culture to be customer centric. This also captured in this saying by a CEO of Microsoft. He says digital transformation isn't just about procuring CRM, ERP, office automation. It requires building what we refer to as a system of intelligence, a digital feedback loop that help you better engage your customers, empower your employees, optimize your operations, and reinvent your process and business model. One of the things you can take away from here is that digital feedback loop that enables you to know what the customer wants. Cross-functional collaboration is another aspect of digital culture that can be of immense benefit to you. This is a practice where you have effective collaboration across different teams in your organizations. It's a situation that doesn't promote people working in silos. And one of the things that can help you build cross-functional collaboration is an atmosphere that encourages sharing of knowledge and sharing of insights. It's an atmosphere that encourages team achievement above key man syndrome. You have to build a culture where people do not want to be the key man or be the lone star in the organization. This is essentially a digital culture that will help your digital transformation. Another aspect of digital culture is having an informed and empowered workforce. Yes, to drive and nurture your digital transformation, you need to have a workforce that is informed. Your workers or employees need to be informed about your transformation projects. They need to know what is in it for them. They need to know how does it affect them. They need to have a buy-in into it. Secondly, you need to engage them. You need to engage them and make them be part of it. You need to have a culture that allows your employee and workforce to contribute to the digital transformation project. And most importantly, you need a workforce that is empowered. Yes, empowered with the right information, empowered with the right skills, empowered with the right digital tools, and empowered with insights. Another aspect of the digital culture is having a reasonable risk appetite. This is a culture where people are comfortable trying new things. It is a culture where employees can take calculated risk and are not punished for adverse outcome. It's a situation where you allow people to try out new things. Yes, there's not this atmosphere of fear and terror. People are not allowed to try out new things, because if people do not try out new things, there's no way they can think outside of the box. There's no way they can innovate. To allow people to innovate, then there has to be this some level of freedom for or risk appetite, because in the digital world sometimes you need to fail fast and uh, to be able to move on. As a matter of fact, if you increase your rate of failure, most times you increase your rate of success. An agile and innovative culture is another critical aspect of the digital culture. This is a system that allows people to think out of the box, a system that allows people to think big, a system that allows people to fail, learn, and improve from it. It's a system that rewards success and also encourages creative failure. It's a system that you can adapt, um, and that allows you to adapt a culture of creativity by continuously seeking for new frontiers of competitive advantage, leveraging advance in digital technology. And this is critical because the digital economy is always evolving, it's dynamic, and you need to match it up. You need to always seek out new frontiers. How can new technologies, advances in technology be used in your business? And to do this, you need to be agile, which enables you to use a couple of iterations through your processes, try out new things, and be able to come up with innovative ideas and innovative processes. The culture of focusing on value creation is another important one. Now, and this is one of the culture aspects that distinguished Apple. And you see this in most of the things they do. And it was rightly captured in one of Steve's statement, which he made when they were launching Apple Store in 2001. He said, and I quote, "This store will not sell computers, it will enrich lives," unquote. So Apple had this culture of focusing on the customer, of focusing on value creation, because it is said that people are not interested in your product, they are interested in the value your product offers them. So one way to have this bonding with, with your customers, having a good following of your customers, is when you focus on creating value for them, because they are not interested in your product or the name of your product. They're actually interested in the value your product offers to them. So if you have a culture of focusing on creating value for your customers, then you can easily create a bond and with your customers that will enable you to succeed in your digital business transformation.